When I first came to the church in Maui, Shirley and I had been on boats together, living on the boat in close proximity for 5 years at underway or at anchor. And when we came ashore and came to the church, and I was ready to prepare for my first sermon, I went into my office, which was right next door to the church, looking out over the ocean. The rectory, rather, next door to the rectory. The rectory looked out over the ocean too. Shirley was in the rectory, I was in my office getting ready to prepare. I have all my books there, and I have done this lots of times years before. And all of a sudden, Shirley comes in, and she says, "What are we going to preach about?" I'm the one that preaches. How are you going to start your sermon? "The Lord is my shepherd." Boring, she says. Everybody knows that. We've been saying that all morning long. How are you going to start your sermon? And we kept going at this until, in my frustration, I said, "I don't know anything about sheep." She says, "That's the way you should start your sermon." I don't know anything about sheep. But I know a lot about chickens. And I think chickens are a lot like sheep. Sheep don't like to be herded. You know, if I get behind the sheep, one of the chickens rather, and want to get them into the cage, they won't come. They run all around, they get squawked, and they fly here and there, and they won't do it. If I go in front of them, in fact, we've trained all of our chickens. We can shake the little can of, it's all about food, somebody said. You shake the little can of bird seed and say, "Chickie, chickie, chickie, chickie," and they come running from wherever they are all over the yard, follow you, and trip you up almost as they try to get into the cage. As you run, they run faster, and they go in there looking for their treat. And they know when it's time. They know when it's time. If we forget about them, they're out in the yard pecking away, they'll come up to the door. And they'll stand at the door and they'll go back and forth and squawk a little bit and say, "It's time for our treat." And if we don't go out right away with it, they get into mischief. They do all the things that they know they're not supposed to do. They go into the garden and start digging up things. Or they'll go out in the street. That's always a bad thing, you know. When they get out there and we see them, then we get frustrated and we get angry and we get the can and we shake it and yell, and pretty soon, all they come back in. Okay, so that's what chickens are like. I think sheep must be something like that too. They're not dumb. They're kind of messy. They seem dumb. Chickens do also, if you don't know them, either sheep or chickens, they seem pretty perverse. But the chickens, even though they have bird brains, they are pretty smart. They know us. They know our voices. They're not afraid of us. We had an experience not too long ago when we got 3 new chickens from another flock and put them in with ours. And at first we separated them for one night, I think, so they didn't get together, but they could see each other through the fence. We have a feeding trough with a fence right between it, so they could feed on each group on the side of the trough without being able to peck at each other or get in a fight. And we did that for a few days, and pretty soon we took the fence down, and they started coming together, and they went through their little ritual. The 3 Rockettes, we call them. What are their barred rock, black and white chickens? The Rockettes. And the head of the Rockettes is Rocky, right? She turned out to be the head of the pecking order too. They had a little contretemps one day. We saw the 2 old Buffy the Vampire Slayer, one of our Buff Orphingtons, was the head of the pecking order, and they got into this squabble just for a minute. After that, they didn't pay attention to each other. Now they feed together and they sleep in the sun together. They are all integrated into one flock. But at first, whenever we came around, the Rockettes moved away, whereas all of our other chickens came to us, knowing where the table is spread, who spreads the table. And it's kind of like that, I think, in our gospel today, or in our song. The Lord leads us beside still waters, leads us even through the valley of the shadow of death, the valley of troubles. And even when our chickens are in trouble, they know they can depend on us. Just like when we're in trouble, we should know that we can depend on God. That in our gospel, Jesus is saying, he is the good shepherd, the ideal, there's probably a better translation of that word in Greek, the ideal shepherd, the one who is not a phony, not a hired hand, not someone that will lead us astray, or someone who doesn't care. And if we were sheep, you know, what happens to sheep? They either get sheared or they get slaughtered. They're not good for much else. They're not pets. Our chickens are sure that they won't get slaughtered, I think. They can see the crosses in the yard from the other chickens that have died and received a good Christian burial. People ask us if we eat our chickens. No, we eat the eggs though. And our chickens are content. They set the table before us. And we get, sometimes 7 chickens, 7 eggs a day. Averaging probably about 5 a day now and increasing all the time. More eggs than we know what to do with. Eggs that we can now give away. And somebody says, well, what about your cholesterol level? Well, we don't worry about that. They're good, healthy eggs. Good, bright, dark yellow, golden yolks. Wonderful eggs from these little chickens. Our friends, our pets. They are. And they're fun to watch. They're fun to watch how they play with each other. How they run around or they peck at this or that. Or they want to fly up and sit a little higher on a pole or a back of a chair or something in their coop. They have the whole resort of the backyard almost, with 3 houses that they can go into to lay their eggs. We have an Easter egg hunt every day trying to find them. And it's like an Easter egg hunt because they're all different colors. We can tell who laid the egg because of the color of it. It's really interesting. We don't have any white eggs, but we have blue eggs and pink eggs and brown eggs and green eggs sometimes. And it's just a wonderful sight, a wonderful bounty that our chickens give us. They give us so much. And in relationship to our psalm or our gospel, do we give that same kind of relationship back to God, to Christ, to each other as Christ dwells in each of us? Each one of us is a Christ to someone else. We are a Christ to someone. They may not know anything about Christianity, but they may see how we live and how we act. Not so much what we say, but how we behave. And know that our love, God's love, shines to us and we shine for them. We're asked in this gospel to follow Christ, to believe in him, to not worry about being fleeced or slaughtered, not worry about what we eat and what we drink, not worry about getting lost, not worry about the wolf, or in the chicken case, the things that crawl in the night, the raccoons, the bad guys for chickens. No wolves or bears or lions here, but raccoons, yes. Eagles are interesting too. As they fly over and the chickens see them or the shadow, they'll go and hide, or they used to go and hide under bushes or go and hide someplace. They know instinctively what to be careful of. And they have been successful. I don't know that an eagle could pick up a chicken, but probably could. Chickens are pretty big.
It can pick up a goose.
They can pick up a goose. Well,
yes.
They can get a chicken then. There's one who knows about chickens too. How many people have chickens or have had chickens in their lives? How many have had sheep? Oh, good. Some. How many have ever felt like sheep? Nobody wants to be a sheep, do they? But it's a metaphor. It's like a parable. It's not like we are fluffy, fuzzy creatures, although sometimes we act like them, butt heads, you know, and get messy. But we follow our good shepherd, who lays down his life for us, who dies and takes it back again in the resurrection, who promise us the same thing, that we, in believing and trusting in him, will have this kind of life in this new time, this new eon, this kind of life that has begun already for us, has begun already. And we then can be good shepherds, or at least good chicken keepers, or at least not chickens ourselves. Don't be chicken to be a Christian. Wear it proudly, but keep it hidden. Keep it hidden. Just show it in your actions. Show it in your love. Show it in the way you care about the world. Show it in the way you have compassion for those people in Nepal. Amen.